Hey guys, Tom Jr. here, aka Mustached Tom, here to review Dark Signal. So this movie features a wife and a husband who are going through some pretty rough times. So they're going through getting their stuff taken out pretty much. And they decide, or he decides, that he's gonna rob a place and she's gonna be in on it. And they go to this unknown location in the middle of the night, and he goes in and she just sort of waits there. And while that's going on, we also have this radio station that's featuring their last night, and the radio DJ, or whatever you want to call it, she is fed up and just using anything, saying anything she wants to, being that it is their last night, and the guy there recording it or editing it as well is just trying to calm her down a bit and stuff of that nature. Uh, and then we see that there are spirits and ghosts, and it deals with carrying the movie to a certain point in the middle, and the end is actually pretty interesting, where the girl ends up going inside the house, and then she ends up being taken or beaten by this guy who was sort of there earlier, warning her and saying that she shouldn't be out there alone, and giving pretty obvious hints that she should probably just get out of there. So he assumes, or his mental, or whatever you want to call it, like his thought process, brings him to the conclusion that she is the one that killed his either daughter or wife, and he's gonna do some bad stuff. So that scene was pretty interesting, and then we actually see that guy get taken out by another serial killer that we see introduced in the movie. We get this little news snippet of this killer that has this method of killing people in a certain way, and he's been doing it for a long time. So now he's killed the guy that was gonna harm the lady, and then he does his own stuff, and it's pretty messed up. And then he sort of is gonna go on his way because he wants to torment his victim. And we kind of cut back between this story and the story that takes place in the radio, which is this lady's getting, that they bring in, is having these psychic connections with the ghost, and they sort of start to figure out what's going on over there, but it's too late. By the time that's end up happening, you get the death of the psychic, you get the death of the characters there, uh, and then you get cut back to the wife. Um, she's sort of going through this torture process, and then she ends up like trying to escape, and then she gets caught, and then when she wakes up, she's in this other location where the guy is going to try to finish her off, and it happens to be the guy that was the editor. And at first it didn't really make any sense, until I kept on remembering the lines of the whatever they were recording was a delay. So I'm assuming that all the stuff that happens in the DJ place is all flashbacks, briefly around an hour ago. And then he goes to do his killing stuff, and so on and so forth. Um, so yeah, there's that. So it was a bit confusing at first, but it sort of clicked, bits and pieces. And the end was really interesting, and the beginning was really interesting, but the middle part of it sort of fell flat for me. The acting was a bit on and off at times. The lady, the main character, was supposed to be following her scream almost sounds like a laugh, which also makes it really hard to, like, you know, follow her and be put yourself in that situation or whatever. So She does that only a few times, but it's still a bit off-putting. Um, and yeah, so this movie is interesting. It has interesting elements, and here's the thing about the ghost is that it seems like the ghost is actually trying to help, which does make the middle part a bit more confusing because you do see the ghost appear trying to do the whole jump scare thing, and I'm assuming that it was trying is she was trying to get the main character to leave the entire area or something along those lines, but it ended up only making her go towards the house. Again, you have to have the horror main character make the stupid decisions sometimes, whatever. You get past that. And then you actually have the ghost at the end of the movie helping out the main character, appearing just right before the killer guy is about to strike. We get to see the main character go through this sort of instant change, and I haven't seen that in quite a while, so it was a bit jarring. I did appreciate the change because it made me kind of almost want to root for the main character a bit more, even though she did make some dumb decisions. But toward the end, I really liked that whole back and forth between her and the killer. It was really interesting. So that was a bit, there was some tension there, so that was interesting. Um, how would I put this movie on a score? I would say that I would give it a 5 out of 10. And I lean a little bit closer to a 6, but whatever. Technicalities aside, um, the issue I have with this movie is the connection. It didn't, and the pop of the reveal. And I feel a bit again split between whether I like it or I feel kind of mad about it because the pop of the reveal is a bit subdued, and a bit of that felt pretty interesting, but it also felt a bit lacking at the same time. So I don't know which one I fall closer towards. I guess each person's gonna, if they do decide to watch this movie, it's gonna either fall under one or the other. Um, or somewhere in between. I felt like it was trying to find its place, and it was just sort of there almost, and that's what a lot of this movie feels like sometimes, is especially towards the middle, is that there are just some things that have to be there because it's a horror movie, and I felt like the mystery behind it sort of fell flat, especially toward the middle. And they really brought it back toward the end there. But yeah, there are interesting elements here, and I can see why people would enjoy this movie. So definitely check it out. And with that said, I'm Thomas Cecilia Jr., aka Mustached Tom, and I'll see you guys next time.